Hi YouTubers, this is another video from your friendly neighborhood reviewer Evelyn. So today we're going to be reviewing Season 2 for all intents and purposes of Tale of the Nine Tails 1938, starring the leading actor of Lee Dong-wook, reprising his role as the mounting fox god of Lee-young, and we get the return of the dead sibling of Lee-rang, played by King Bum, set in this series. I saw the first season, let's put it that way. You know, the traditional thing of the fox god falling in love with a woman, with a female human. Things went about. The actress that played the leading character, Jo Boya, who plays E. Adam. If I'm mispronouncing some of these names, somebody correct me, the pronunciation. So we had that one, that Lee-young found his true love, they got married, and from my understanding, made to turn into a human. And then season 1 had a great, show of the relationship between Lee-young and his younger half-brother of Lee-rang, that they went and separated since Lee-young was trying to look for his reincarnated, love, and then ultimately abandoned his younger brother, in which the first season covers that Lee-young realizing that he should have not abandoned his younger brother, and the younger brother was swearing revenge against him because they had a duel in which Lee-young left his younger brother wounded almost mortally, because anyone who's seen the first season knows that Lee-young, in exchange for having his true love reincarnated again, he was in the services of the underworld, head by this woman with powers, let's say the gatekeeper of the dead, and her husband, and another assembled cast of characters. And okay, so everything at the end was that tearful scene of Lee-rang sacrificing himself for his brother to return back from wherever he was dead, and he ends up disappearing into this bag thing of this fortune, this other mystical being that gathering important things. And we open up with the first episode of season 2 of Lee-young in 1938 being tied and Japanese soldiers appearing. So 1938 is showing some historical relevance of importance as well of the Japanese colonization of Korea at the time, and the struggle between the Koreans against the Japanese occupation. One thing I liked about episode 1 exceeded all my expectations. You're there thinking as the viewer, why is he in 1938? What the heck is going on? He's even wearing, modern clothes. And we have a voiceover from Lee Dong-wook saying, "You must be confused why I'm here in 1938. So we get put back to 2020 at the end of season 1, which left with a big question: how come Lee-young, after saving everybody, fulfilling the prophecy that he's still a fox god, we understood that he now is a human when he got returned back to his younger brother's sacrifice. And we get the ending shot of season 1 with his eyes, glowing yellow. And that left me confused. So the episode 1 cleverly explains the plot holes. We see through flashbacks, 4 months after, the end of season 1, he asks the lady, he calls the old hag in the translations, that how come his younger brother Lee-rang can't be reincarnated again? And the gatekeeper tells him he still committed a lot of sins, because of course he killed people and all that kind of stuff. And then Lee-young says, okay, tell me what I need to do for my brother to be reincarnated. And again, the old woman kind of puts the contract again, similar to season 1, that he'll retain his powers of the fox god in return for services with helping the gatekeeping of the underworld between the living and the dead. And we get a funny scene where Lee-young says, what's the small print? And he reads the small print and he says that the services will be rendered on the decision of the old woman, in which he says, no, I'll do this, but I won't be agreeing to that because you can keep me doing this forever. So he asked the woman to change it, saying that his service will stop once his wife passes away and he will be able to die with her. Now I bet they should expand on that more, because let's say carries on his lifespan until when his wife dies, you'd assume he would want to become older with his wife. I don't know how that's gonna be, or still staying young until his wife dies, that's let's say 85, and then ends up collapsing like this. So okay, I'm not gonna put too much emphasis on that. And then we get put forward into what's going to be the main issue of this series. So of Nights of All Nights, There's the other bit that I forgot to mention that, another question, whether his wife knows about this deal, or whether she's gonna be happy, because I think we did get new scenes with the actress Ojo Boa, but we only get shown pictures here, like Eon has the mobile, he's looking at his picture's wife, so I have a feeling like the last episode she'll make another guest appearance, so to go and close off everything. And the other bit I do like that Eon is wearing his wedding ring, so we can see that he's fulfilled in that sense. So the main issue that's going to be to resolve throughout the 16 episodes, I don't know how many episodes this series has in particular, that in one night, a mysterious guy with a white and red mask goes to the gatekeeper's house, and on the top of the house they have this blue crystal, and he goes and steals the crystal. And then the old woman and the other guy, that's her husband, ends up finding out that the crystal was stolen. And then they tell Eon that the crystal needs to be returned. And he says, why? Because this crystal is keeping the balance between the living and the dead. And then we get scenes of the past dead people coming back from the underworld, purgatory, whatever, to try to get their revenge on the gatekeeper. And then Eon says, one thing I like about the episode so far is they go and quickly, say what the audience is thinking, because Eon tells both the old woman, like, why are you keeping a crystal on the top of the building if it's that important? And she explains where the crystal was placed needs to be there in a certain position, I guess, geographical wise, for the importance of the balance. And she goes and tells Eon, now the crystal has disappeared, I need you to find it. So Eon says, okay, I'll do that. And the woman says, you only have a certain amount of time to come back, if not you'd be stuck where you are. So Eon goes through the cupboard, and so does his other friend, the veterinarian from season 1. Him has like a lot of comedic roles with the veterinarian. So he goes through the cupboard, Eon, and then he realizes he's in 1938 and he's left there going shocked. Eon manages to find the guy with the white and red mask, and in that moment we get another reprisal of the character of Yuri, that was the right-hand person for Irang in the first season, and also ends up becoming the girlfriend of Eon's, best friend, let's say, in a sense, of the veterinarian. In that time period, she goes and throws a bomb in the middle of these soldiers, I think Korean soldiers, and she's meant to be Japanese. And the guy with the mask is there. He ends up dropping the crystal, and there's a scuffle in which Eon is there, trying to get the crystal from the guy because it's on the floor. And he ends up running into these bandits that end up stealing the crystal, and they end up going off. And we get a horse chase scene, which was interesting, of Eon like riding a horse chasing the criminals. And in that moment he ends up encountering his brother, and he's so happy to see his brother alive. But of course in that time period him and his brother weren't even speaking. Eon, he's very happy to see his brother because he wants to make up for lost time, and he knows that this could be the last time he may see his brother actually alive. So they have a fight in which the healing moment gets accelerated in episode 1, where to show his younger brother that he's serious, he lets his brother stab him with his axe, and then he says, now you can take me seriously, because the younger brother's like, why did you let me stab you? So ultimately, from episode 1 to 2 is finding the crystal and who's this big bad guy, who's the main criminal here. Because Irang gets injured again by the guy with the red and white mask, because I think he was holding up the crystal, and the guy found him and stabbed Irang, and then Eon is like, oh my god, my brother is almost dying yet again. So he's trying to find help, and the brother tells him, go to this place on Myeongdong, something like that, this kind of like hotel, brothel, god knows what the hell it is. And he takes him there, and unbeknownst to the both of them, end up encountering kind of like this turtle-like god creature that sucks up the life of people and kind of tricks people, giving them youth, in which we find out that effect only lasts 3 days. So we get that kind of like that awesome special effects. And of course the guy, like unbeknownst to Eon, he's thinking of making a kind of like an exchange with this kind of creature to help his brother that's dying. And then he says, if you get this sword that can apparently wound me, then I can help your brother. And then we get kind of like Eon's there, but his past self is also there, and they encounter each other. The funny bit about this series is like they're leaning into the dark humor, and it's one of the comedic things. Because the future Eon meets the past one, and he gets ashamed of seeing his past self basically taking, opium. We know what the origins of opium is. We have some little bit of illicit substance use here. And of course the fact that Eon is quite brutal in the past. So they end up having this confrontation, and Eon wins, the future one, because of course he knows his own weaknesses. And now we get the end shot of episode 1 at both Yang and Eon are in the train. And on the same train, we have the amazing actress with, drop dead gorgeous. Like, I just cannot stop staring at her when she appears. She acts as another mountain god, because in these first 2 episodes, we kind of see almost the affair of the gods squabbling against each other in that certain time. And she's there obsessed with Eon, and she's really powerful, really, really powerful. So I'll do a episode 2 review. I didn't do so much of episode 2 because it's just basically Eon having a great, train fight scene with the mountain god of Yu Hongju, and we see the strength between the both of them. And then we have like the special effects fight scene, and I can't remember the rest. I'll dedicate the next episode for part 2. But anyway, so I'll leave it here. I want to say a big thank you to the new subscribers and to any new viewers. I really appreciate it if we can hit the subscribe button. Leave your comments down below what you think about the first 2 episodes. And as I leave you always, stay safe. Bye.